Hello, everybody, and I'm here to say, if you are a kid, stay the fuck away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a read of Lyre. I'm your host, Will, and this is...
And I'm the psychic you never seem to be able to get rid of.
Since when are you a psychic?
I honestly don't know. Ever since... Okay, listen. I've been watching a lot of Trixie and Katya lately. The drag queens.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to be on this show called and they usually had these funny little intros where they did a little skit before they said their names. And for some reason, Discord, basically, according to Discord, I don't remember which one of us, but one of us was a psychic, so I just decided, you know what, let that be my intro for today.
Ah. Where the fuck did you read that?
When we were Discord friends for like a year, or
Oh, right.
2 years, according
Yes.
to... According to Discord.
According to Discord.
According to Discord.
Okay, then. Thank you, Discord. Let's read the visual novel. How about that?
Yeah.
My eyes jolt open as the sound of metal clanking together brings me out of my sleep. I sit up to look over to the doorway where I see a turkey turning to open it. A feeling of dread washes over me. How long was I asleep for? I glance out the window and see that the sun is higher in the sky. It's most likely close to noon at this point. I had only been asleep for a short while. The cold air from the window wafts onto my body, and I wonder how I was able to sleep at all. I get up and move over to the other side of the cell. There's two turnkeys standing by the door. One of them is wrestling with the lock on the door while the other stands next to him, holding some cloth, shoes, and a bucket with hot steam rising from the top. The first one is muttering some swears under his breath while the other stands there silently looking down at the ground. Behind them stands a castle guard. He's a lynx, clad in basic armor with a large green cloth wrapped around his neck and shoulders. The turnkey unlocks the door and swings it open, banging onto the wall behind it. I don't really know what to do, so I just stand there, backed against the wall, looking at them. I'm still barely clothed, only wearing the pants from the wall. They're scuffed and stained with mud, looking more like a rusty brown compared to the midnight black they were on that night. I look closer and realize that the bundle of cloth the turnkey is carrying looks like a pair of neatly folded clothes. Knowing that they're going to give me some clothes is a bit of a good feeling. I'd hate to be tossed before the throne as a dirty man in rags. Better to be a dirty man in clean clothes.
Yeah.
However, the bucket of water might be to clean myself. Step into the cell, the first turnkey stepping off to the side, while the second one walks in, setting the clothes down.
Stand still.
He says this in a raspy voice, which travels out from under his hood like a growl in a bear cave. At first, I don't understand what they intend. Then I watch as the silent turnkey brings back the bucket and begins to heave it forward. Wait! I barely have any time to protest, let alone dodge, as the hot water leaps through the air onto me. The initial
With
shock
clothes
is...
on?
Huh?
Or is Richter still in his clothes?
His pants, yes.
Oh my god.
The initial shock is horrific as the heat surges over my body. Some of it gets in my mouth and tastes salty. I throw myself back a bit, backing against the wall and blinking my eyes. Why would you do that? Neither of them respond. After a few seconds, the feeling of pain goes away, and soon I'm just standing there, dripping from head to toe with warm water. I'm far from being warm myself, though, as the cold breeze rushes in through the window, blowing onto my skin and sending goosebumps all over my exposed arms.
Turn around.
I look up, and the other turnkey is being handed a second bucket by the guard. I...
Turn around.
Reluctantly turning around, my body feels stiff and I tilt my head downwards, clenching the muscles in my neck, bracing for the impact of hot water on my back. It only takes a moment for the stinging wave of water to be thrown on me, tickling down my back and soaking my pants. A muddy puddle has formed on the ground around my feet. I don't really feel clean. The guard nods to the silent turnkey and they walk forward, picking up the clothes and setting them on the bed.
Those will be sitting on the bed for you once you're ready.
Okay. The turnkey walks up to me and pulls a rough-looking sponge from the bucket. Before I can question them, they press it into my side and begin to sloppily scrub away my skin. What? What are you doing? Stop! They pull back and look at the guard. He frowns and looks at me.
They need you clean. They need to clean you before you present yourself to the king.
As the guard says this, the turnkey picks up where they left off and continues to scrub. This is ridiculous! I'm not a pig being prepared for slaughter. I grab the sponge from their paw and rather easily and throw it into the bucket. A small bit of water left in the bucket flies into the air, splashing... Sorry. A small bit of water left in the bucket flies into the air, splashing on the ground in front of the guard's shoes. I'm perfectly capable of washing myself! I say this while glaring at him. He steps forward and reaches into the bucket, pulling the sponge from the bottom. Rising back up, he shoves it into my chest with a bit of force, gritting his teeth as I'm backed into the corner.
They're going to do their job, and you're going to be quiet. Fuck you. Sorry. Then when they're done, we're going to escort you to the trial.
They push harder on my chest, the metal and the gloves digging into my skin.
Or I could bring you there now, naked and shivering like the pathetic worm you.
As we're to escape him as his attention is drawn to the hallway.
Or
The rhythmic sound of steel clinking together travels up the hall, getting closer with each thud. Bjorn? I imagine the large bear trotting his way down the hall. I feel my heart beating in my chest as the guard's fist presses me against the wall. When he was standing in the doorway, I didn't realize how big he was. Lately, I've only been visited by people either around my height or much smaller than me. Grab his arm and push him off of me with what little strength I have. Get off! I actually managed to make them stumble back, their full attention on the hallway. That snaps them out of it, however, as they push me harder into the wall, letting out a snarl. Person walking down the damn corridor now sounds like they're just a few cells down. It can't be Bjorn. Whoever it is, their footsteps are swift and quick. They actually seem to pick up in pace, too. Maybe they'll stop this. My legs are shaking a bit as I stand there, pushed against the gritty wall of the cell. The two turnkeys stand off to the side of us, their paws clasped and their heads drooping. The repetitive noise of feet on dirty ground comes to a stop in the doorway. Hi!
Yeah!
Lyle! Slides through the
Hello.
entrance, still stiff and shoulders high. He is wearing a helmet shaped to the head of a wolf, with a large plume coming out at the top. I recall seeing it sitting in an armor rack in his room. Even in my dreams, it would rest there, collecting dust.
Out.
The two turnkeys walk to the door, one of them handing the ring of keys to Lyle.
But I was just...
Leave now.
Slid down the wall and fall into a seated position, legs shaking slightly. Seeing him and hearing his voice is the biggest relief I've had in weeks. The castle guard walks to the doorway and stops next to Lyle.
You're not even allowed down here, if I remember correctly.
Can't read the expression on his face through the helmets, but Lyle only turns his head slightly, looking down at the links.
As the person who made the arrest, it is my duty to bring them to trial. If you have a problem with that, bring it up with your commander. I'm sure he'd love for you to waste time with such questions.
Guard clenches his fist and scoffs.
You'll be needing these then.
Guard drops a pair of shackles onto Lyle's paw. Lyle leans in, his voice brought down to a quiet tone.
Oh, and if I ever catch you pushing around prisoners again, I'll make sure your commander has you shoveling shit in the stables for weeks. Understood.
After that, the guard walks off in a huff. Lyle turns his head away from the door and looks down at me. As I hear the guard's footsteps trail off into the distance, I find it hard to get any words out of my mouth. For a few moments, we both just stay in place, motionless. The only thing moving is Lyle's tail as it twitches from side to side. I apologize for the smell. What's with the helmet? Suddenly, he launches himself towards me, throwing the shackles to the side and falling to his knees. He takes me in his arms, rubbing them around me tightly. His body gives off a comforting warmth, and there's even a faint smell of coconut. I just sit there and let him hug me, my body in shock. After a few seconds, I hug him back, his fur rubbing against my face.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I can feel him shaking slightly, and even hear him sniffle. What are you apologizing for? You better not be apologizing on behalf of that muddy king. Shaking continues, but he quickly starts to laugh.
I missed you, Richter. It's only been a couple of weeks, but it felt like ages. And all I could do every day was wondering how you were getting by. You were constantly on my mind.
He pulls back, planting his paws on my shoulders and looking down at me through his helmet. I can sort of see his eyes behind the visor, big concern. I look down, several emotions overwhelming me all at once. Embarrassment, happiness, sadness. I can tell that I'm blushing without even looking in a mirror. My face is hot and the rest of my body is chilly. The water from that bucket bath drips from the tips of my hair into the ground. I look back up at Lyle, and he's still letting out nervous chuckles.
I like your hair. You look kind of cool with it, with it down like that.
Even through his helmet, I can tell he's forcing a smile. Before I know it, tears begin running down my cheeks. It feels good, though. He takes me in his arms again, and we both silently sit there, hugging. Sobbing to his chest for what seems like a few minutes. The thing that messes with me the most is the fact that I'm just now realizing how much I missed him. I'd see him in my dreams and some visions, but through it all, most of the time he felt like he was just there. Any emotions I would get were just drowned in other feelings and thoughts. Holding him in my arms helps quell my doubts. Having him here by my side is just pure bliss. For a couple more minutes, I pull away and look up at him. I miss you so much, Lyle. He lowers his head.
I really did never stop thinking about you. Not for a moment.
He leans back in a seated position, still swishing across the floor like a broom. I raise up my hands and grasp the sides of his helmet. Are they making you wear this for the special occasion?
No. All of the royal guards have to wear these, actually. Only on certain occasion, though.
brings his paws nervously and I brush my hand through the fur on his neck. Can you let me take it off? I see your handsome face. I begin to lift the helmet and he quickly brings his paws up to my hands to stop them. His paws stay there for a moment and he lets out a sigh. I lower my hands and he removes his helmet. Oh!
Ow. Damn. That sure is a shiner.
Let me check something.
How much pounds of pressure?
Oh. I know that's not what we are supposed to look at. However, I just went on the sprites folder and I had it confirmed. Lyle has eye bags now.
Oh.
Those
I
weren't
mean,
there
that's
before.
fine.
I. To see a character you relate to in such a way, in such. Pain. What I see next makes my stomach twist into knots. He has a black eye. It's swollen to the point where he can barely open it. Oh my god. Take his face in my palm and caress it.
I'm afraid my dedication to both the sword and the arts have left me middling in both.
I gently rub my hand across his face, making sure not to cause him any pain. I start to get angry, knowing that this is all probably because of me. It's nonsense. Everyone says you're a gifted swordsman. What actually happened?
You'll learn all about it during the trial.
Did you get into a fight with someone? Did someone attack you? He lowers his head in shame.
All you need to know is that it was Björn, and he's in worse shape than I am.
Yay.
Bjorn attacked you! And you won? Doesn't lift his
Yeah.
head, still looking down at his lap.
Not really. I lost the duel.
That doesn't make much sense. I'm confused. Would Bjorn be in worse shape?
It was out for blood, and I didn't want either of us to die, so...
He pauses, the words catching in his throat.
I don't really need to talk. I don't really want to talk about it, if that's okay. The fight itself wasn't important.
I'm about to protest when an all too familiar noise echoes out from outside the window. Bells start to toll, the noise bouncing off the walls outside and filling the cell with a reverberating noise. I look back up at Lyle and he's staring out the window too. He seems nervous, almost frozen in place, and I don't blame him. It's finally begun.
I'll tell you more about it later. After we prove your innocence.
Stands up from its seated position and holds out his paw.
It'll be better if you arrive as soon as possible.
His paw and pulls me to my feet. You're right. Look down at my body, filthy and dripping with water. The seat of my pants covered with mud. Picking up the sponge and bucket, I turn to Lyle, who's examining his helmet. If it's alright, I just need a few minutes to,
Oh, yeah. I'll be out in the hall if you need me.
Okay. After a few minutes, I managed to get myself relatively clean. Sponge
Yippee.
actually does a good job of getting most of the dirt and everything else off my body. It's not a perfect bath, but it actually feels really good aside from the shivers running up and down my skin. Also, once all of the water is used up, I turned the bucket over and stood on top so I could wash my feet. However, I should have placed it closer to the bed with the clothes. Lyle!
Yeah?
He appears in the doorway, his eyes darting up to mine after glancing down at me.
Oh, nice.
Can you hand me this cloth on the bed? I don't want
I don't
to
think
get my
it'll
feet
need them.
dirty walking over there. Without saying anything, he quickly walks over to the stone slab and hands me the cloth or the underwear. While he does this, it looks like he's avoiding looking at my body. I take the underwear and start tying it around my waist. You know, you don't have to avert your gaze. Am I really that grubby looking?
No! It's not that you're grubby.
Oh, so I am, huh? Sorry.
I'm just trying to be polite. I love looking at your body.
He stops halfway through his...
It's all self-reporting.
He stops halfway through his statement and we both stand there in silence for a moment. I know you do. Fasten the underwear around myself and he turns away in his flustered state. Eventually he does look back at me and I even see him softly smile. I get the undergarments fastened around my waist neatly, but when I look up at him, he keeps his eyes trained on my torso. After a second, his gaze rests up back to mine. Hands. Point to a simple pair of pants sitting on the bed.
Sorry.
Grabs the pair of trousers and hands them to me. Slip into them pretty fast, and then he hands me the shirt. I put that on pretty quickly too. The sleeves are short, and it feels a bit tight. Lyle tosses me a pair of socks, and I slip them onto my feet, leaning against them for support. Step off the bucket and into the old pair of shoes. They don't fit me too well. A bit too big, actually. I can walk in them, though, and even so, I don't think I'll be doing too much walking anyways.
What about your jacket?
I look behind him at the jacket that he's nodding towards. It's the one I wore that night, damp and hanging from the bars at the cell door. Will the throne room be
hey.
cold? Sorry?
Hey, well.
Yes?
Well, hi. About this Bjorn situation. Did you know it only takes 2 pounds of pressure to drive someone's nose bone into their brain?
Revenge.
No. That's not an imagery I'd wanted at less than an hour
Sorry.
before waking after I woke up.
Oh my god, sorry.
It's fine.
I was quoting Louise from Bob's Burger.
Oh.
Will the throne room be cold?
No, really.
I should be fine then. I walk past him, patting him on the back in a sarcastic manner. Stopping in the doorway, I turn around to look at him. Standing in the center of the cell, helmet in one hand and shackles in the other. I look down at him and realize that for a moment I had forgotten about everything. Only for a moment. Locks eyes with me and then looks around the cell once more. Lyle. Stares at the bed, the cold slab of stone with one corner draped with a blanket and the other draped with my wet clothes from earlier. After a few seconds, he walks up to me and holds out the shackles.
I hate to do this, but
It's okay, just do it. Pauses for a moment before nervously clasping them around my wrists. He clinks slightly as his paws lock them in place.
I'm going to make whoever killed Reiner pay for what they've done.
Hey, so there's this prince that now is king, I guess. You mean we, right? Closes my eyes, a sad smile gracing his lips.
Of course.
He takes my hands in his paws and rubs his thumbs over my palms. For some reason, I can tell that he wants to cry. It's just a feeling that I get from his paws. Lyle? He squeezes my hand slightly and looks up.
Yes.
If things go well, there's something I'd like to talk with you about.
Of course.
Even if everything goes horribly and I get sentenced to life in the dungeons or worse, I want you to visit me here so I can talk with you. Promise me you will. Without hesitation, he closes my hands together in between his paws and clasps them tightly. The chains linking my arms together rattle as he does this.
I promise.
Once again, the bells outside begin to ring. Lyle leads me to the doorway and turns around.
You go on ahead while I lock the cell door.
Okay. I hesitantly take a couple steps forward before walking down the long tunnel. As I walk, the feeling of comfort I had while with Lyle starts to fade away. Then I remember why I'm here and what's going to happen. Amazingly, being around Lyle made the emotional part of my brain forget all about it. But now it all comes crashing down upon me like a roof collapsing. It feels like it fell from my chest and hit the floor. I try to pick myself up mentally and continue to walk forward. That's all I can really do at this point. I just have to try and get through this. Try to take my mind off of it by looking around. I've never actually gotten to see most of the hall leading to my cell. Past the first two cells and take a peek inside of them. They both look similar to each other, but they're definitely different compared to the one I was put in. They each have a window with bars on it, and both cells are very small. At least half the size of my own. There's also no bed or anything else for that matter. Each cell is completely empty aside from the shackles hanging from the brick wall. I hear Lyle's footstep approaching from behind me.
I really put you in the good cell, you know.
I wish you didn't have to put me in a cell at all.
Me too.
We continue walking, his helmet underneath his arm and his other arm wrapped over my back, his paw rubbing my shoulder. Chains hanging from my wrists cling together lightly with each step as we make our way up the stairs. How many dungeons are there?
Most people only know about the first two levels. You were placed on the first level. It's a series of cells that were built as part of the castle's foundation.
That's why each of them has a window?
Yes. Well, some of them do.
We're now in the main part of the castle, and it's honestly a breath of fresh air. We pass a few people going about their business. They don't pay us any mind, aside from the few that stare at us as we pass.
When the castle was being built, they were actually being used as rooms for the workers. Although they weren't locked in them like you were. They were basically used like barracks. But the plans for them to be the dungeons had been decided in the initial
Schematics.
Initial schematics.
We come across a fork in the hallway, but instead of going down the corridor that leads to the throne room, we turn left. The voices of people ahead start to fade away as we pace down the other hall. Isn't the throne room that way?
We won't be going through the main entrance.
Oh, that's actually a relief. I'd prefer not be sneered at walking up the aisle. Anyways, what about second level?
The second level is meant for a more permanent stay. It's underneath the castle's foundation, embedded deep within the cliffside. The heat from the hot springs can really be felt down there, and you never see light of day.
Sounds miserable, sorry. I can do darkness, I just can't do heat. You know?
Yeah, fair enough. I say this as a Portuguese person who has summers of like almost 50 degrees. Sometimes.
Holy shit.
To be fair, when
Bro.
I have them, I'm like further south than where I am right now.
Huh. Yeah, I feel like some of the... From what I can remember, the highest we've gotten was up to like 30 Celsius.
Girly pop, that was the peak. That was peak temperature yesterday.
Okay, oh god.
Yeah, no.
I've
for
heard
me,
that I've heard that ACs are bad for the environment, but I'm starting to... No, I have to remain strong.
So it has been decided. If one of us is visiting the other, it's gonna be me to you.
Oh my god, you can do it during winter.
Yeah, let me freeze everything off.
Exactly, and I can show you snow.
Yeah.
Although it's not going to be guaranteed snow.
It's fine.
I mean, it probably will further up north.
It's fine. I don't need to see snow. I've already seen snow, like, this year. Last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, where were you?
Serra da Estrela. There's, like,
Huh?
The highest point in continental Portugal is, like, how high up in the air is it, actually? Hold on.
It's okay, I probably wouldn't understand the measurement. I don't know. I probably wouldn't understand the measurements either way. I'm bad at math.
What do you mean you wouldn't understand the measurements? I use meters, stupid.
I'm bad at math.
What do you mean?
I don't always understand. I can at most 30 centimeters. That I can understand. The rest I have no clue. I don't know how big the average car is or the average person. I know none of that. I do not understand any of that. Honestly, come to think of it, I don't think I know how big a meter is. I don't know.
It's almost 2 kilometers above sea level in altitude.
And that's big, right?
Consider it's yeah, it is. Everest is 9 kilometers.
Oh, okay, that actually helps. Then I think I understand. Oh my god, we could also go to Dalarna, which is like in Norway. Anyway.
You don't want to be put down there, and you don't want to be put down there. And honestly, I'd do anything in my power to stop that from happening. It's horrible down there.
Hearing all this causes goosebumps to form on my arms.
Thankfully, we don't get to use them that often.
Are there more levels? Doesn't answer right away, not until we turn down a very narrow hall. There's 2 castle guards standing by a door at the end of the wall, end of the hall. They're both cats, out of earshot and talking with each other.
There's one more level, but it hasn't been used in ages. And it definitely won't be used for you.
We get closer to the end of the hall and he stops and takes his arm off my shoulders, turning to me.
Okay, the trial will be starting soon. So I just want to go over everything with you. I'm sure you're thinking about it as long as you've been in those cells, so you're more than prepared.
Somewhat.
But I think we should still go over some of it.
Okay.
There will be a jury consisting of high nobility. You may recognize some of them.
From that dreaded party.
Hey! You got to dance with Captain Lyle Reed of the Royal Guard. Was it really all bad?
Should
Yeah,
look at
no.
him in a deadpan manner.
I'm not kidding.
I know. Trust me, I wish I could block out all the bad stuff from that night.
Me too. Anyway, there are going to be 7 people on this jury, including Elizabeth. And after everything is said and done, they will give their verdict. Once all the votes have been read, the king will give his verdict, and his word is final.
Oh, joy!
Very rarely does it differ from what the jury believes, though.
Even if they all voted me innocent, I doubt others would agree.
You never know. We'll just have to see. Honestly, I don't know what he'll decide.
What else do you know for sure? Thanks for a moment.
My love for you.
Not the time to be corny, Lyle! Thanks for a moment fiddling with the plume on his helmet.
Each person, even remotely involved in what happened, will testify. They will either testify against you or for you. Or they may even do both, depending on the information they give.
That's very different from how it's done in Erin.
I'll be going first, since I made the arrest. Also, another thing in our favor is the fact that Björn is currently unable to testify.
Reaches down and grips the handle of his sword confidently.
And Adrias isn't too keen on delaying the trial.
Who will testify in his place?
Instead, Finn will testify in place of him, detailing the events and how he saw them. Finn is a good man, and I know he'll most definitely tell the truth. They will also have your account on what happened along with mine. As long as there are no contradictions, the jury will accept it.
That could either be good or bad for me, depending on what Finn saw.
Yes. Unlike usual, everything seems to be a bit unfortunate.
Yes, that seems to be an ongoing theme. Is there anything else you might be able to tell me?
That's all I really know.
Because Bjorn fucked your memory! Sorry. It just... pain.
I'm also not sure what the punishment will be.
I can think of a few things. Let's out a sigh, his breath tremulously exiting his lungs.
No.
Lyle, you know more than I do what happens to people guilty of such crimes.
No. I won't let it happen.
I reach up and take his face in my hands. Yes, you will.
No! I'll never!
No! Listen to me! You're going to do everything in your power to prove my innocence, and I'll do the same. And if it's all for naught and I'm thrown in a cell, we'll continue to fight the odds. But if the worst happen, you're to do nothing! And stand the thought of roping you into a punishment you don't deserve.
You don't deserve it either.
You know my eyes begin to water. That's not the point! I say this in a hushed whisper. Testifying for me is already putting you in a dangerous spot. I don't want you dying on my behalf. Tears begin to form at the corners of his eyes, and he looks down at the ground. His breathing is heavy, and his tail is tucked between his legs. Let's contemplate the horrible scenario where I'm sentenced to death. You are going to do nothing to stop it from happening. My eyes are welling with tears, and my heart is racing. I can feel a headache coming on. Afterwards, you will mourn me and weep, as I know you will, because you are good and kind. And when the mourning is done, you will move on. You'll find someone else who will love and trust you as I do. And I know you'll try to make things work, because that's what you've done since the moment I've met you.
You ask me to be reasonable, but it won't make things better. I'll be loyal to you until the day I die.
Would that be the same loyalty as what you've shown this kingdom? Your loyalty to Lyre has tied you down and made you its prisoner. You are a knight, a servant. I will not have you make the same pledge to me. His breathing relaxes, and I could tell he's thinking of a way to reply. The bells also begin to ring again.
I made that pledge when King Reynor asked it of me. I made that promise.
He hangs his head low, his muzzle almost buried in the fluff of his neck. Lyle, I love you! For most of my life, I've never even known for sure what love was, but now that it is ripped into my soul, I can feel it. And I know that you love me too, and as you told me before, I've made a great impact on your life, but if the worst should happen, don't let your loyalty to me chain you down as well.
Don't.
Because if you're loyal to me, and you'll only be joining me in my grave.
Please, don't.
But if you love me, you let me go.
Victor, even if it means tarnishing my own name more than I already have, I will stop at nothing to prove you're innocent.
I can see the pain in his eyes, and I know it's a hard topic for him. But it needed to be brought up. I know you will. It's in your nature. Takes his arm to his face and wipes the tears from his eyes. After it does that, he bends down and wipes the tears from my eyes with his paws. Rough pads gently brush against my eyelids, and I cradle my face in his paw. It's warm, comforting. We stand there for a few minutes, the air heavy with the weight of all that's happened. One of the castle guards approaches us, their green cloaks swishing with their tail. The other guard walks through the door to the other side. A commotion can be heard as he slips through. Sir Reed. Lyle takes me from his embrace and turns to them.
Yes.
They're ready for the accused to be brought out soon. Glances at me with his cat-like eyes. Lately, everyone either avoids looking at me or can't take their eyes off of me. Turns to me, a confident look covering his obvious worry.
Are you ready?
Doesn't matter. He lets out a sigh.
I guess not.
Lyle takes my hand, and we walk to the door at the end of the hall. When the door opens, walk through, and you should find your place before the throne. I make it to the door and stand in front of it. Lyle leans against the wall, resting the side of his head up against one of the bricks. I stand across from the door, staring through the crack in the door. I can hear the faintest noise of chatter coming from the other side. My skin is crawling as it begins to itch. I start to feel hot, and the taste of my own spit begins to become more noticeable. Reaching behind my head, the chains ringing together and resting on my chest, I pull my hair out of my face. Lyle continues to rest against the wall, silent and calm. He's most likely thinking, so I decided to leave him to it, so as I don't want to disturb his thoughts at a time like this. I should be concentrating as well. And unfortunately, I should be ending the episode.
Damn!
We're not at the trial yet.
No, we're missing someone.
Yes, We sure are.
And
Well-
we can't have them miss it.
Obviously not. That would be a disrespect to them. Why are we saying them like everyone doesn't know who we're talking about?
I'm so sorry.
No.
I don't think
I also just.
I don't
cut
think
it
I got to learn their pronouns, so I'm using gender neutral pronouns.
Maze here.
She, her. Okay.
Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, like, comment, and subscribe to any of those things in any order. I don't really mind, and if the content on my channel wasn't enough to satisfy you, can go over to Pikamain's channel.
Yeah. I have cool content.
Yes, you do. With all of that out of the way, I hope that I get to. I hope that I get to see you on the next episode. But even if I don't, I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye.